the Lanterns of Stillwater Village. Before we begin, take a slow, gentle breath, in through your nose and out through your mouth. Let your shoulders soften, let your thoughts drift, like ripples across a quiet lake. You are safe and you are home. Tonight's story is called The Lanterns of Stillwater Village. Let its calm light guide you toward a peaceful dream. Nestled between low, mist-covered hills and the soft mirror of a wide lake lies a tiny place called Stillwater Village. It isn't on most maps, and those who stumble upon it usually do so by accident, drawn by the shimmer of its evening lights reflected on the water. Every cottage in Stillwater has windows framed by ivy and roofs brushed with moss. At dawn, the air smells faintly of pine and dew, and at dusk, of wood smoke and tea. The people who live there speak quietly, walk slowly, and greet one another with the calm patience of friends who have never been in a hurry. The lake itself is their heart. It holds their reflections, their memories, and their nightly tradition, the lighting of the lanterns. Each evening, as the sky turns from gold to lavender, the villagers gather by the water with small paper lanterns cupped carefully in their hands. No one rushes. The ritual has no clock, only the rhythm of the crickets and the sigh of the wind through reeds. They light the first lantern together, always the one belonging to the village elder, an old woman named Mara. Her hands tremble, but her flame never wavers. When her lantern drifts out onto the lake, the others follow, each carrying a quiet wish. The lanterns float slowly, gliding over the surface like tiny moons. Their reflections double the light, so it seems as if the stars have come down to rest on the water. Children watch until their eyelids grow heavy. Lovers hold hands in the hush, and those who sit alone know they are still part of something gently shared. Days in Stillwater move like soft tides. The morning begins with the call of herons, the clatter of teacups, and the scent of fresh bread cooling on windowsills. Fishermen push small boats into the lake, their oars dipping with unhurried grace. Shopkeepers sweep their doorways. Mara, wrapped in her shawl, tends to the community garden, touching each herb and whispering a thank you for its growth. There is a quiet pride in every task here. The village thrives on the art of doing things slowly and well. When the carpenter shapes a chair, he listens to the wood until it tells him which curve will be most comfortable. When the baker kneads dough, she hums an old lullaby, believing that gentle songs make the bread rise better. And when the children play, they build boats out of bark and leaves, hoping one day to set them afloat with real candles inside. As summer deepens, the lake becomes glacier, the nights longer. Fireflies drift between the reeds, tiny messengers of light. The villagers say each one carries the echo of a lantern from long ago, a light that never truly goes out. It's why the lake never feels dark, even on moonless nights. Sometimes visitors arrive, weary travelers, or those simply looking for quiet. Stillwater welcomes them, but asks little. The only thing the villagers request is that the newcomers take part in the lantern ritual. For, they say, every new wish strengthens the calm of the lake. One evening, a young traveler named Rowan came to the village. He had walked far, his shoes dusty, his thoughts tangled with city noise. He carried a small pack and a restless heart. When he saw the lanterns floating on the lake, he stopped, as if time itself had taken a breath. Mara found him standing by the pier. She offered him a cup of warm honey tea and a spare lantern. "No words are needed," she said softly. "Just breathe. and think of something kind." Rowan hesitated, then wrote a single word inside the lantern: peace. When he set it upon the water, it drifted out, glowing steadily, as if answering him. He watched until the light blended with the others, until he could no longer tell which was his. That night, for the first time in months, Rowan slept without dreams, only the sound of gentle waves tapping the shore. Seasons turned. Autumn brought the scent of apples and smoke. The hillsides blushed with gold and crimson, and the lantern's reflections shimmered brighter against the darker evenings. The villagers began a harvest festival, not with noise, but with gratitude. They lined the lake with candles, each flame a quiet thank you for the year. Mara grew older, her steps slower. Rowan stayed in the village, helping wherever he could, mending nets, tending gardens, carrying wood. He became known as the Keeper of Light, for he was always the first to arrive at the shore each dusk, preparing the wicks and paper shells. And when Mara could no longer light her own lantern, Rowan knelt beside her and did it for her, whispering, "Your wish first, as always." She smiled. "Then may Stillwater always remember how to be still." Her lantern drifted away, slow, steady, shimmering. Winter softened the world into silence. Snow gathered on rooftops, and the lake froze into a mirror of pale silver. Even then, the villagers found a way. They carved small paths through the ice and floated their lanterns along them. The light glowed warmly against the frost, as if the lake itself were breathing. Inside their cottages, they told stories about the first lanterns ever lit, about dreams that crossed the lake and returned as blessings. Rowan would tell these stories in Mara's old chair, his voice low and calm. The children curled up like cats around the hearth. Years drifted by like lanterns on the current. Visitors came and went, carrying pieces of Stillwater's calm back into the noisy world. Some sent letters saying that when life felt too loud, they closed their eyes and imagined the lake, and it helped them find peace again. Rowan grew old too, and one evening, when his hands had grown unsteady, he asked the youngest villager to light his lantern. "Carry it far," he said, smiling. "Let it meet the horizon." When his lantern touched the water, a gentle wind rose. The ripples glimmered, one blending into another, until the whole lake looked alive, 1,000 quiet lights breathing together. The villagers watched in silence, and for a long moment it felt as if time itself had bowed in reverence. Now, when night falls over Stillwater, the tradition continues. The children's children light their lanterns, whispering wishes of kindness, hope, and gentle rest. Each flame joins the countless others, reminders that peace, once kindled, never truly fades. If you listen closely, you can almost hear the soft rustle of the reeds, the hush of water against wood, and perhaps, far away, the faint sound of a single lantern drifting into the stars. As this story comes to an end, take another slow, steady breath. Feel calm settling over you, like warm light across the lake. The lanterns still float, and the night holds you gently. Rest well, dream peacefully, and may your heart remain as still as Stillwater Village.